This goes out to all my Latino brothers and sisters just dealing with this whole ICE raids and protests out in LA. Let me tell you a couple things. Stay your ass at home, okay? Just take it from the black community. We just dealt with this shit with the George Floyd shit and Black Lives Matter. They're using you all, okay? Rule number one. When you show up to a protest and there's rocks and bricks right there before you get to the protest, George Soros, okay? When you get to the protest and everybody don't speak English, but they signs is written in English, George Soros. So this is another one of those situations where they're trying to just get some violence going. They're trying to have another civil unrest moment. So the black community we already saw this. We sitting this and out. We ain't got no dog in this race. You know what I mean? We ain't worried about that. And I would recommend a lot of you Latino brothers and sisters sit this shit out. If you illegal, then stay at home. Stay at a friend's house. I don't fucking know. But if you can take your ass out in that street, you're gonna find yourself alone and locked the fuck up. And they're gonna use your ass. And let me tell you right now, you can put a handkerchief over your face and all that shit. They're going to find your ass. Just like they found them January 6ers, they can find your ass too. So you read the play. This is a George Soros manufactured event. He's got the same playbook. He's paying everybody $150, $200 a day to get out there and cause some havoc. So it's all you young motherfuckers that's broke that ain't got no job. Y'all running out there, because $200 a day. But I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna get your ass pepper sprayed, and you're gonna get deported. Stay your ass in the house. Chill the fuck out. Wait for this shit to blow by. Okay, don't be worried about Trump National Guard. They playing right into each other's hands. They know what this shit ain't got nothing to do with y'all. This shit ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Just sit the fuck down and chill out. If you illegal, I would just leave. What you sticking around this bitch for? Ain't shit, you know what I'm saying? This shit ain't popping like that no more. Just leave. Try to get your shit together, come back. If not, stay your ass in the house because Trump ain't playing with y'all. And George Soros don't give a fuck about y'all. He wants civil unrest in this country. He wants a civil war in this country. That's what they've been going for. They tried to do that shit with the George Floyd niggas. But we woke up. We was like, nah, we ain't doing all that. Now they're trying to get all of y'all up in there. Well, listen, I'm telling you right now, y'all better wake the fuck up because you all are nothing but pawns on a chessboard being played. That's it. So you going out there thinking you're going to make a change, you're going to make a difference. Unless you got millions of dollars in the military behind you, you ain't doing shit. You ain't doing a goddamn thing but getting yourself fucked up. So just be warned.
I think that was a great video to start off today's discussion. Listen, a lot of people think they going out there sticking it to the man and that they going to make their voices heard, this, that, and the third. One thing I want you guys to understand, especially the people out there marching and protest, listen, you don't ever march on your own terms. You only get to march when they tell you get to march. If they don't allow you to march, they don't allow you to protest, guess what? You're not protesting. It's not going to happen. This whole thing is a stage. Nothing happens by a coincidence. Everything is strategically placed and plotted. So these guys can continue to push along their agenda. This ain't nothing new neither. We could go back and look at the Black Lives Matter movement. What happened then? That was a George Soros operation. We had the same issue with the bricks being placed. We had the same issue with Antifa. We had the same issues, right? People was peacefully protesting, and then what? It got chaotic. I don't even agree with marching at all. I don't even agree with the Black Lives Matter movement. I felt like that was a whole bunch of BS. He was a criminal. George Floyd was a criminal. I don't agree with it at all. Even if he wasn't a criminal, I still don't even believe with it, because what is the marching going to do? The marching is not going to do nothing. That's not how you get anything done in this country. To get things done in this country, you have to go and make your voices heard. Whether that's you running for office, whether that's you getting a group of your friends and they getting a group of their friends, and we saying, hey, we're going to hold our vote and we're going to make sure X, Y, and Z get done. And if X, Y, Z can't get done, or X politician can't promise this or do this, guess what? We're not voting. But see, black people, what they want to do, vote for Democrat at 90% rate. So nothing will ever get done. It's not only isolated to black people. What happened with the Asian people? They know the Asian people not going to march, so they stage an event, false flag event. Now, did people get hurt? Yes. But the anti-Asian hate bill, we had an incident. And what did Biden do? He pushed in the anti-Asian hate bill. It's not only isolated to Asian and black people. We now have Latinos. What's going on now? And why do they need to use the Latinos? They need to use the Latinos because the Latinos are going to be the new major minority. Black people, you're useless now. You voted at a 90% rate to Democrat and it didn't even move the scale. So we got to go and create an issue to rile up this party that's going to be the new major minority. If black people were still going to be the major minority, guess what? This would be another black incident. But because they flooded the border, which is also a part of their agenda to have borderless countries, right? So they could issue in their one world government. But because they flooded the border and they have all of these people coming in, right? And saying, hey, you're trying to send us home, even though we broke the law. We don't want to go back home. We don't want to go back home. Blah, 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 blah. Right? They created another issue. And it's all funded by the global elites. And so you may not think it's funded, but I want you to take a look at this and you tell me what you think. So this right here is a picture of the planned protest that's supposed to be happening on June 14th. Now you tell me, after all the rioting that you've seen in California, the police masks and shields that they've been using, the tear gas, all of that, where do you think they got that from? And who do you think funded that? This was all planned and orchestrated. These people ain't got money to be doing that. These people are paid operatives. These people are paid to go and incite violence during a protest. And people on the right, don't forget, this is not something that's unfamiliar to you as well. Remember, January 6th, they used the same tactic, same strategy. They incited the riot. They incited the violence. They infiltrated the movement. It was a peaceful protest. We see the video of it being peaceful as people peacefully walking into the Capitol. They opened the doors up for them. It was all planned and orchestrated. So this is not something that's new. This is the same playbook that they do on every side and in every situation. They pay these people to incite violence. You might not believe me, but I want you to take a look at this video and you tell me what you think.
When I was out in Los Angeles protesting the ICE deportations for the past few days, besides the fact that I got paid $150 to do so per day, I kept seeing signs everywhere that this was being funded by somebody much higher than the person that I had met. For instance, they would give us certain streets or certain targets to go to, and on those streets, there would be pallets of things that could cause destruction to the community. I am not joking. For instance, you turn a corner, boom, there's a pallet of bricks. Oh, that's convenient. Let's destroy the community. And y'all know me, I'm a good guy, but I truly do not care that much about the ICE deportations. I just wanted that $150 a day. But I got to thinking, man, whoever is funding this must really hate this country. So as time goes on while we're protesting and things evolve, they evolve in a lot more violent nature. For instance, instead of there being a pallet of bricks on the target neighborhood or target street that we are protesting on, it'll be a pallet of flammable objects. So it was at that moment when I saw that pallet of Molotov cocktails sitting on the ground, I thought, man, should I really be doing this? Like, this is bad news. This is gonna get way worse. Now, I'm not from Los Angeles or live in Los Angeles, so I don't really care about destroying that community, but I'm American after all. Like, this is not good. Moral to the story is there are certain people in our government that wants us to go burn the local police station down, but in actuality, the corruption is at a much higher level.
Now, is he trolling? People gonna say, man, he's trolling, he lying, he this, that, and the third. That's cap. This man just doing it for clout. He just want attention, this, that, and the third. And I can see all of those being a valid response. But when you have the track record and the history that aligns up with what he's saying in this video, is the reason why I give that video a little bit of validity. Whether he's lying or not, I know it's happening. Let me show you.
Have you met these two? I like to call them bought and paid for. People have noticed and filmed that in the back of the Museum of Contemporary Art in LA, there are supplies that protesters are able to use, like bags of rocks and cinder blocks and other things. And this is interesting because guess who sits on their board of trustees? Karen Bass. And her job is to ensure the museum's strategic direction aligns with civic values. And if that's not interesting enough, the Saturday before the protests in LA started, the museum held a gala with Karen Bass and a bunch of celebrity donors, including Nancy Pelosi, and they all got around and raised $31 million for the museum. And this, of course, came 2 weeks after they lost grant funding due to Trump's NEA funding cuts. And today, President Trump said that the Department of Justice has opened an investigation to find out who is financing these protests. Between the museum, the No Kings protest funded by Christy Walton of the Walmart family, coupled with the fact that Gavin Newsom has received a ton of campaign money from the Soros family and their Open Society Foundation, they are known for funding many different protests throughout the years, including the recent Tesla protests. I think there's a chance that this could be a collaborative effort. Maybe they all had a little powwow at the gala and discussed options. Is this a reach, or do you think there might be something there? As always, let me know down below.
So, is it a reach to believe that that guy was not lying? I'm only led to believe him because of the dots align. Especially for us old conspiracy theorists who've been following this thing for the longest. We know how evil George Soros is. We know how evil Klaus Schwab is. We know the plans of the WEF. We know the plans of these global elites, and it's playing out in front of our face each and every day. And see, he's not the only one to say, oh, you know, I was offered to get paid. They offered to pay me. He's not the only one. Are these people trolling? I don't know. They could be, but there's a lot of dots connecting in this situation. Take a look at this video of another man saying the same thing.
I just got offered $200 a day to go protest ICE in New York. The organization was called No Kings. They said June 14th we're going to be protesting, and these are the streets that you need to be on, and this is what you need to do. You need to cause chaotic disruptions, and they said that there's going to be pallets of like bricks and different things everywhere that protesters could use. They really want to wreak havoc. It's kind of ridiculous. Me as an American, you know, although I need the money, I'm like, this is very, very unpatriotic. If I was to go take this money and go protest, it's not very American. It's not what I stand for. It's obviously not even, you know, worth the time. But, you know, $200 a day is what they're paying people to go protest. The corruption is up here because it goes way beyond these organizations. They want to destroy America, and, you know, people like me that need money are gonna go do it. I'm not gonna go do it, but people are gonna go do it. They're gonna go destroy, you know, the city and cause chaos. It's just crazy that, you know, they're even paying people to go do this. It just goes to show that everything we deal with is corruption, and these people at the top level, like, who's paying for this? There's got to be some billionaires paying for this so that, you know, they could try to get Trump out or something. But, you know, $200 a day to go cause chaos is, like, crazy. Not worth it, but also, like, really fucked up.
Could he be trolling? He could be trolling. But when I see Death to America plattered all over LA, sprayed on the walls, on the government buildings down there, Death to America, but y'all protesting to stay in America. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense at all. When I see looting, violence, people running into the Apple stores, T-Mobiles, does that make sense? It doesn't make sense at all. So it aligns up with these people being paid to go down there and protest and start the chaos. Why is there an organization and a website telling people to go on June 14th and protest? Why is that the case? Should never be the case. That means there is an organization planning on protesting on June 14th, which would be Donald Trump's birthday, if I'm not mistaken. And you already know what's going to happen. You don't think Antifa going to slide through there? You don't think George Soros organization's going to slide through there? And see, this is all to push the idea that America doesn't have any civil rights. America doesn't care about its own citizens, this, that, and the third. How ironic is it now that America is on a civil rights watch list? But it's not as simple as that. Even when you see headlines like that, you got to go behind the veil and see what's really going on. Take a look at this video. Let me show you what's going on.
Breaking news right now, the United States has officially been added to a human rights watch list.
Okay, Aaron, this is what happens when you don't give your viewers the full story, and as a lawyer, you should absolutely know better. I've made this mistake before, and it did not end well, so allow me to return the favor. You mentioned your data from Civic US. Who funds Civic US, which by the way is a non-profit? Which means that they are not the end-all be-all decision of the entire world. Here we have a top 5 donors list. Let's go through a few of them. Open Society Foundations. Who runs that? George Soros founded Open Society Foundations and has donated over $32 billion of his personal fortune to the matter. Charles Stewart Mott. Let's see him. All right, this looks promising, right? The foundation is a large and well-established foundation, and like many of its kind, it gives large sums of money to organizations of the left. Oh, what do you know? They go hand in hand with the George Soros endowed Open Society Institute. Sisterhood, if you will. Ford Foundation. Largest foundation in the US, though it's been passed in recent years. As of December 2014, it possessed assets of $12.5 billion. It's been a major force in American culture and, because of its size, has given a great deal of money to left-wing and center-left organizations since its founding. Then we'll hit Lifeline and battled CSO, the bottom one. Looks promising, right? Wrong again. Who helps fund Lifeline? Open Society Foundations, which is... brings us right back to here. So Aaron, I don't think you do it intentionally. I think you're paid to do what you do, to be quite frank, and kudos to you making a living off of lying to people. But if you're going to post to such a large sum of people, like such a large platform, it's astonishing. Make sure you look into where you're getting the research from. You know the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? Yeah, well, with a big statement like the United States is in a human rights watch, it's definitely okay to look at the cover. Because right behind the cover, you'll find everything I just showed you. And you didn't take that extra step. And now millions of Americans that follow you are completely deceived. You're trusting the word of a man who was kicked out of his own country for interfering with their politics the way that he does here, who has also bought out over 50 DA elections in this country. DAs that won their election because of his funding and then had the lowest approval ratings in their city's history. But you didn't take the extra step to find that either, did you? Or the fact that he bought out 623 radio stations to make them left-leaning, but about over 40% of our media. You didn't take that extra step, did you? Of course not, because you're paid not to.
George Soros' hands is all over this. The global elites' hands all over this. WEF, World Economic Forum, hands all over this. All over this. This been their plan since the beginning. Corrupted governor, Gavin Newsom, corrupted mayor, I don't even know her name, Karen Bass, corrupted. Who are they seen in the picture with? Soros. Let me play this video for you as well so you can understand Karen Bass' history.
It's crazy, this riot in LA, while the mayor of LA, Karen Bass, was for 6 years on the board of NED, the CIA cutout that specializes in starting riots and street protests. Before she helped the CIA start riots, she was a community organizer, professionally organizes protests. And there's more. The Vence Ramos Brigade was formed in 1969 with help from Cuba's intelligence apparatus, a partnership between radical American activists and Fidel Castro's government. On the surface, its mission was to organize trips for young Americans to Cuba for cultural exchange and humanitarian work. But according to a 1976 FBI report, the brigade's true aim went much deeper. The report stated that its purpose was the recruitment of individuals who are politically oriented and who someday may obtain a position, elective or appointive, somewhere in the U.S. government, which would provide the Cuban government with access to political, economic, and military intelligence. Critics allege that brigade members were not only ideologically indoctrinated, but may have also received training in guerrilla tactics, urban warfare, and bomb making. Karen Bass's involvement as a Venceremos Brigadista has been a point of contention, particularly when she was considered a vice presidential candidate in 2020. She traveled to Cuba more than 20 times during this period. While she described these trips as cultural and educational, critics question her judgment, political leanings, and what these repeated trips say about her values. Now, as the mayor of Los Angeles, those questions take on new urgency. What influence did this group and her involvement have on her decision-making and leadership today? These are facts that demand answers.
Can we get your reaction to the president sending them in?
Yes, I'm very disappointed that he chose to do this because it is just not necessary. There were protests last night in Los Angeles. My understanding is there were about 120 protesters. Several of them did commit acts of vandalism, but there was nothing that was happening in downtown Los Angeles that the Los Angeles Police Department could not manage to deal with.
Want to know something? It's a fact.
And as crazy as it may sound, having a mayor of California having ties to Cuba, communistic parties and organization, having ties to George Soros, someone who's known to be anti-American and want to see America burn to ash, having a government having the same ties to George Soros, someone who says death to America, someone who do not believe in America. The global elites want to see America fall. We've seen Klaus Schwab even say it. America would no longer be a superpower, right? So this is not something that's brand new. And for ages, even people on the right can resonate with what I'm about to say. We have to drain the swamp. And what was the swamp? These three-letter organizations, federal organizations. And what did we say about the swamp? The bureaucrats in these three-letter federal organizations have been controlled, corrupted for the longest. And it's pushing agendas that does not align with the Constitution. It's pushing agendas to also destroy America. I got this video right here that I want to play that actually helps to substantiate my point with what's been going on even in these 3-letter federal organization and how these movements have not been organic at all. Trained tactics, paid operatives. Take a look.
In 2021, the Special Operations Command under Mark Milley, as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, put out an instruction manual, a vision for 2021 and beyond, that contained instructions and examples on how the military could work with the State Department, Intel Services, and USAID using race riots. Here's examples of some of the instruction manuals here, 1 and 2, in order to destabilize nations.
Here's a declassified CIA guide written in 1983 to train CIA operatives in the field on how to organize riots in foreign countries. And here's a tab on using agitators, including hiring professional criminals to manipulate mass meetings and assemblies of people in person, which can result in general violence. And you will see that they advocate for general violence, where the CIA tells the case officers, our psychological war team must develop in advance a hostile mental attitude among the target groups so that at the given moment, they can turn their anger into violence, demanding the rights taken away by the regime. So make these ethnic minority groups so mad at their government in a general sense that whenever we snap the trigger at the given moment, they will turn that general anger into physical violence against the state that we want to overthrow. But this is a CIA guide on getting teachers, doctors, attorneys, and businessmen in a cluster cell recruited as social crusaders for the CIA-backed cause. And then note what it says. Through a gradual process, these cells, your 10 super teachers with a lot of influence in the teaching realm, your 10 lawyers with a lot of influence in the legal realm, your 10 captains of industry with a lot of influence in business, your 10 medical professionals with a lot of pull over the hospital systems will each work within their own spheres of influence. And at the appropriate time, their influence will be used to fuse the groups together into a united front. Using the tactics of a force of 200 to 300 agitators, one can create a demonstration in which 10,000 to 20,000 could take part. All we need are 200 back channels, 200 human assets that we've capacity built, and we can get 20,000 people to commit a violent riot in a fury of violence against their own government.
In addition to that, they advocated for setting up job fairs near some of these riots so that disaffected workers could gain employment. Now, as a member of Congress, I ask myself, did anyone in USAID get elected to Congress? How about to a presidency?
U.S. secretly created Cuban Twitter to stir unrest. And
hoping it could use to organize smart mobs. Yeah. These are literal mobs, BLM style mobs. Now, I'm just going to read this here for a second. McSpeeden was one of the guys running this. He worked for USAID's Office of Transition Initiatives. Now, transition means government overthrow.
You got to watch that word these days, transition. Yeah, it means a few things.
In 2009, a report by congressional researchers warned that the Office of Transition, and again, this is not a CIA division. This is a USAID division for regime change, for toppling governments. Through organized political warfare, mobilizing the unions to take to the streets, mobilizing boycotts and shutdown of roads and transportation systems and hospitals and schools. And then it goes on to say, okay, we were told we couldn't even be told in broad terms what was happening at USAID because people will die, said Fulton Armstrong, who worked for the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Before that, he was the U.S. intelligence community's most senior analyst on Latin America, advised for Bill Clinton. So he was the top guy at CIA at the analyst division on all of Latin America, and even he can't get access to this secret operation being run out of USAID.
When you are acting in the shadows and you are destabilizing nations using race wars to do it and then advocating that the military does it, in my opinion, not only do you put the future generations that would have to fight in those wars in jeopardy, but at the end of the day, you're operating without any oversight.
See, this has been going on for years, decades. It ain't just started now. And constantly, we like to continue to point the finger at the MAGA movement, LGBTQIA, XYZ community, Latinos, blacks, white, versus pointing the finger at who's actually doing the corruption. We continue to look surface level versus saying, let's follow the dollars. Let's see who's funding these organizations. Let's see where this corruption is coming from. Continuously, we like to point the finger at each other. But you know who fault it is for letting it get this far? Americans. Because constantly we trade our constitutional rights and constitutional freedoms away for security. We let each party trick us to continue to push us back, It's a famous saying, and I know some of you guys heard it before. If you put a frog in boiling water and you just turn the water up slowly, that frog would never know that it's dying and getting boiled. But if you drop that frog into the boiling water, the frog will instantly jump out. We're the frog that's getting the heat turned up on them little by little. Constantly we get a little uncomfortable, then we adjust. Get a little uncomfortable, then adjust. There's another saying about how you push the people back. They scream and shout, but you don't move. You push them back. They scream and shout, but you don't move. You push them back, they scream and shout, they don't move. Before you realize it, they offer the screen, they offer the playbook, and you don't push them all the way back here. And they can never get back here into this area. And they then look upon themselves and think, how in the world did we lose all of this? That's what's happening to America. And see, this been going on. And I want a lot of people to understand that, like I said before, this is not LGBTQIA. This is not Latinos. This is not Black Lives Matter. These organizations are just a front group. This been going on back when Fred Hampton was one of the leaders in the Black Panther Party back in the 1970s. In the Rainbow Coalition, his idea was to get the progressive whites, progressive blacks, and progressive Latinos. And then you had Jesse Jackson come and build on that Rainbow Coalition and say, you know what? Let's not only get the progressive whites, progressive blacks, progressive Latinos, let's get the progressive Asian Americans. Let's get the LGBT community. Let's get the environmentalists. Let's get the Native Americans all involved. See, and back then, the minority groups made up 15%. Now, the minority groups make up 30%. And you then got to ask yourself, how in the world we go from 15 to 30? What happened is our youth were in indoctrination camps, because what did the parents have to do? Had to go work. So where did we leave our kids? In the school system. What happened with the teachers? The teachers turned hella progressive. The teachers changed their curriculum. The teachers changed their ideologies to more of a progressive, liberal, Marxist, and communistic stance. So where did that leave the youth? That left the youth to grow up in these new extremist, environmentalist, progressive organizations, susceptible to the propaganda, the illusions that's placed upon them. And that's why you will see a lot of these young people out here protesting, and they have no idea what the hell is going on.
Be the good guys!
I'm not sure they understand how anything works. Some of them don't even know why they're there.
What are you gonna do? Huh? What are you gonna do? I don't know, I'm just kinda here. Just keep the finger up? Yeah. There you go. Well.
You know, you'd think if you're waving the flag of the country these people are being sent back to, you'd be happy for them. I mean, they are getting a free ride back to your favorite place.
What's the purpose of bringing out the Mexican flags today here while we are in the United States?
Honestly, I have no idea, bro. I just came here to just show out. That's it, bro.
Boy, these people really are confused. Look at their leader.
Donald Trump!
A garbage pail kid, armed with a leaf blower.
Wow. A lot of these people are just really clueless of what they are helping issue in and where they are fin to help lead America and the rest of their Americans. With things like this, with clueless ass people out there just pushing an agenda that's going to allow the global elites to fulfill their agenda, to push in more of a police state. We already seen this happen on a larger scale, but without the protests, with 9/11. Call me a conspiracy theory, call me what you want, it don't matter. I believe that 9/11 was a false flag. I believe that was America using that event to take away privacy from Americans. What happened after 9/11? The Patriot Act. What did the Patriot Act push in and implement? Warrantless surveillance, bulk data collection, library and business records, sneak peek warrants, loose end standards of surveillance, minimize oversight. We already had Eric Snowden come out and expose this. And when the Patriot Act came out, the Patriot Act traded away a significant degree of individual privacy for promise of national security, creating a system that allowed the government to monitor emails, phone calls, financial records, internet activity, and even library usage, often without the need for probable cause or public accountability. What did they tell us that was for? Oh, this is going to be to monitor terrorists. And they turned around and they used it on the American people. You might be saying, Fletcher, what the hell that got to do with these protests now? Now they are talking about Palantir. You see certain people on X saying it's time to issue in Palantir. You have people on the right saying it's time to issue in Palantir. You know you want it, right? We need that to have surveillance on these illegal immigrants. How am I not supposed to believe they're going to turn that on the American people just like they did with the Patriot Act?
Unfollow any conservative influencer that you haven't seen talk about the Palantir deal, because this is the biggest story in the world. The beginning of a technocracy AI surveillance state of biblical proportions. I really can't even think of anything that would have been worse news. If you don't know what exactly Palantir is or what they do, here's a breakdown. Palantir specializes in big data analytics, providing software platforms that integrate, manage, and analyze vast amounts of data from disparate sources. Gotham serves government clients, enabling mission-critical decision-making in areas like national security and law enforcement. Companies' tools excel at creating digital twins of organizations, allowing users to model and predict outcomes. Palantir's work spans from tracking disease outbreaks to optimizing corporate logistics, often sparking debate over privacy and surveillance due to its government ties. Peter Thiel is the founder that you always hear about because he was the CEO of PayPal and is very powerful in the tech world. He is also the reason that JD Vance is in the White House. Alex Karp is a co-founder and is the current CEO of Palantir. We'll talk more about him later. For some reason, not a lot of people bring up co-founder Stephen Cohen. Whitney Webb posted, Palantir is not just a military contractor. It was a company created to privatize and house the Bush-era neocon-run surveillance program, Total Information Awareness, housed previously at DARPA and put it under increased CIA control, though the CIA was also intimately involved with TIA. TIA was shut down by Congress because because it would have eradicated the constitutional right to privacy. But Palantir has accomplished that and gotten away with it because it's a private sector entity. Palantir's earliest funder besides Peter Thiel, the CIA. Palantir's first client for its several years as a company, the CIA. Where did Palantir engineers go every 2 weeks for years for guidance in developing their products? The CIA headquarters. Palantir's originally intended clients per CEO Alex Karp, the CIA. If there ever was a CIA front company, it's Palantir. So in April, no one really noticed when Palantir was paid $30 million to create Immigration OS, which was a surveillance platform for ICE. And apparently that was just a test run of a surveillance and data system to use on the American people. In less than 2 months, they jumped from, oh, we're just surveilling the illegals to, we're actually going to surveil every American citizen. I'm sure in no time, this will become, our AI database has decided that you're an extremist and we have to get you off the street and lock you up. Palantir has already worked with governments on pre-crime arrests, pandemic lockdown enforcement, tracking down who they deem terrorists in Palestine to bomb. I'm telling you guys, this is literally our worst nightmare. Here's a little glimpse into who our new tech oligarch Alex Karp actually is.
Look, when we built PG, which single-handedly stopped the rise of the far right in Europe. We built Foundry, which was distribute the COVID vaccine and saved millions of lives globally. We built what we call multi-constellation, and what's often called the digital kill chain. Mostly by terrorists, that's true. She believes I'm evil. I believe she's an unwitting product of an evil force, Hamas. That she unwittingly is part of their strategy, that she is a product.
So when you going out there and you marching and you have no idea what the F is going on, this is what you help implement and pushing in. You're not going to stick it to the man by going out and marching. Remember, their philosophy is order through chaos. So when you going out there and they set these bricks in place for you to go throw at the police, just remember, you're agreeing with George Soros. You're agreeing with the global elite. Death to America. I love this country. And you know who else I believe love this country? A lot of the people that ran over that border was misled by Joe Biden to come over here and think that they was going to continue to eat off of the welfare state. But when you have 400 illegal immigrants get arrested at these protests and at the LA protests, then you have to question yourself. What is the true motive here? Because if I came over here and I was running, I was an illegal immigrant. I'm not going out in public protesting nothing. I'm hiding. I let y'all go do the dirty work. And honestly, you making it more hot on me. I believe there are people who came across the border that really love America and that's looking for an opportunity. But guess what? You're going to have to be the hide and go seek champ because they coming for you. And I want you going too. I don't care. You came across here illegally. You hide and go seek champ. You continue to stay. You get caught. You get kicked out. And I feel no way about it. But when you in this country and you decide, yo, F hide and go seek. I'm finna go out here and protest and help push the chaos. I hope your ass get locked up. I hope they beat you with the sticks. I hope they... All right, I'm going a little too far. But I just wanted to bring to you guys attention of what's really going on. All of these protests are engineered strategic plans to push America to more of a police state so we can lose more privacy, so they can have more control over every citizen. I don't desire to be like China. But when you taking your ass out there and you getting paid a couple of dollars to go tear shit up, When you getting a couple of dollars to burn down cars and buildings, when you getting a couple of dollars to go loot stores, I can't agree with that. And if you're an illegal immigrant and you going out there to protest and you get caught up versus playing hide and go seek, you're a dummy. Go hide. Hide for your life. You know it's bad when you see the immigrants scared of the people that's supposed to be protesting for them. Yo, that guy in the pink was fighting for his life to keep that door closed. Listen, man, I hope this enlightened you some type of way. Brought some attention to a much needed issue or deeper issue that's going on in America. And I don't want to just point the finger at black, white, Hispanic, this, that, and the third. Do we have some dumb Americans out there? Some ignorant Americans out there that just don't know? Most definitely. I know I clown black people. I clown Hispanic people. I clown white people. I clown Asian people. I clown everybody. Anybody can get it, including me. Because, see, I'm not innocent and hands clean from this situation. Let me show you something. I fell for it too. We were just talking about Fred Hampton. I literally created this shirt myself on my iPad. This is Fred Hampton. And you can see that says freedom in red, right? And then it says revolutionary. And then I highlighted the love part in red. I put his signature on the bottom. And then on the back, deeper than black and white. I fell for it too, bro. So my hand's not clean from it, but I woke up. And honestly, when I made this shirt, I was in the mindset of, look, bro, I'm tired of all this racist junk. Like, I don't care. This junk go deeper than black and white. They want us to continue to point black and white, black and white, black and white. I think I made this during and around the Black Lives Matter movement. And I'm like, bro, this junk go deeper than black and white, bro. This has nothing to do black versus white people. This is George Soros. This is the global elites. This is all of them. This is their playbook. But I thought Fred Hampton was on that type of movement, and he wasn't. That boy was a communist. He was trained communist. He was a trained Marxist. So I fell for it too. So that's why I give grace to some of these people, but that don't mean we shouldn't shame them. That don't mean we can't give them the hard reality and the hard truth. But I hope you guys gained something from this video. Listen, remember, you are me, I'm you, we're one of the same body. Remember, keep your head up, keep your nose clean. You save the world, you live forever. Peace.